Oh. Wow. I feel so connected right now. So connected to my European ancestry. Just being out in the field, in the sun. The vitamin D is boosting my test right now. A literal pro hormone building block to testosterone. And while all these other kids are probably dealing with what they call depression and sitting inside with no sun, hungover, I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying the little things, appreciating the little things, seeing the bumblebees pollinating. Grateful for that. I'm so grateful right now that my heart is beating, that God is keeping. He's choosing to keep me alive right now. Just really, if you ever want to feel grateful for anything in your life, place your hand on your heart and feel the energy from your heart. Because it is literally an electromagnet. It's the most powerful thing that you possess. And God, with each breath, you're basically edging death. If you were to just stop breathing automatically, you would probably die. But God is keeping you alive with every heartbeat, every breath you take. And most people don't even think about this thought ever, which is crazy. So practice your gratitude. Be present in the moment. You know, that's one of the biggest things for me is I always used to be constantly in this state of what I called stress because I was constantly looking into the future of events that don't even fucking exist and constantly stressing about how to plan and prepare and solve these issues in the future and constantly dwelling on my past, you know. Well, I can't be successful because, you know, I failed at many things in my life. You know, I wasn't as good as some of my friends at certain things. I wasn't good at high school wrestling. I never really tried my hardest at that. And that's kind of an identity issue. If you identify with that, if you keep on dwelling on the past and keep on identifying with that person who is failure, who is insecure, who is weak, who needs more and more and more, then guess what? You send that energy out into the universe, to the magnetic field. The universe is going to bring that energy right back to you. It'll find its way to you. So no matter what position you're in, it is advantageous. It is the most smart, strategic move on the chessboard always to go under the paradigm that, wow, I'm a G, you know? And modern feminists and all this bullshit going on in the world is going to try and tell men what they should be, and that they should be weak, they should be docile, they should just be this funny, dumb, goofy dad, and the mom's the masculine one, and really promoting men to basically just be betas, bisexuals, you know, whatever you want to call it. I'm here to tell you that your thoughts really manifest into reality. And if you believe this, you truly believe this and you're watching this, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're brand spanking new to this whole thing, and it sounds like crazy, because when I first got into it, I started reading all these self-improvement books on, I can't even put it into words, on, quantum physics and reality, the universe, God. There's tons of cross-references. People think that believing in the universe is sacrilegious, but it's actually not at all, because it's actually very, very cross-referenced and intertwined. Everything that is talked about in the universe is just another way of saying everything in the Bible and everything of Catholicism. And that's what I believe in. I've been growing closer with my faith to God. And I think that's another important thing on this journey. Obviously, I talk about it a lot. I was just talking about it. You need to grow your relationship with whatever God you want to believe in. I can't tell you who the God is, but I know that Jesus is king. But you need, in this modern day, it's so easy with all this satanic energy out in the world to get caught up and lost. You know, they have all their ploys. They have pornography. They have gluttony. You could break this into the 7 deadly sins, you know. Pride. They want you to be prideful and look up to all these superstars and celebrities that are doing all these gay satanic rituals. You know, you got Epstein, you got all this other crazy shit that goes on that you don't even think about because, oh, those are just a completely different category of humans. Those are like aliens to us. But it's like, that is literally going on in our world. There is evil and there is good. There is the light and there is dark. Equal and opposing forces. You physics nerds know what I'm talking about. And so if you say you stand for something, if you say you stand with Christ or the good side of the world, then you better stand against evil. Because if you're just kind of complacent and you're okay with these things, and you know, there's a lot of evil shit, but that's not really my problem. People can do what they want, and everything's just fine, but I believe in there's some sort of higher power, but you don't really believe in it. But no, if you truly stand for something, then by law, you stand against something, right? So you stand up to evil, you stand against evil, all these ploys in society that we see today, all the wickedness and the prowlers of Satan, you stand up to that evil. Because you're a young man, or maybe you're an older man watching this, you got a pair of balls, you need to grab those balls. Remember what your ancestors fought for. Because eventually down the line, for thousands of years, at one point, your bloodline was relying on one man in the freezing cold winter holding a sword, fighting for his family, fighting for his nation, fighting for something above, greater than his own life, putting his whole life on the line. And if that man died or failed to reproduce, you would not be here. You would not exist right now. So you need to pay homage to all your ancestors that fought for you to exist. They didn't die so that you can waste your potential and sit on your phone, sit on TikTok, scroll, have no sense of purpose, just follow the rules, be a little sheep, go to school, get a job, marry a wife that has 30 bodies, but, you know, her body was theirs, but her heart is yours, right? No. That's absolutely unacceptable. I think we need a grand reformation of this, and the only way you can fight it is by standing up to evil each and every single day, fighting temptations, fighting urges, realizing there's a way bigger purpose behind all of this. You're not just working out and lifting the weights just to look good and flex on people. You're not making a shit ton of money to flex. And you know, that's part of it. That feels good. But there's a deeper picture. You need to paint yourself a crystal clear, I'm going to get in your face for this, a crystal clear image and vision. You need to visualize every single night so that you know exactly what you were fighting for every single time you wake up and hit that alarm. And you're charged. And every single habit you have should reflect this vision. So let's say your vision is for a greater nation, for something huge, dream huge. A greater vision under the paradigms of traditionalism or something. I'm just giving an example here. You know, where the families are reinstated and families are proud of their nation and they're reproducing many children. and they're healthy, they're not eating all this slop. So that's why you eat good. That's why you don't commit gluttony. That's why you fuel your body with the necessary nutrients, because A, it's personal to you. You want that body. That's the physical aspect of it. But there's also a non-physical or metaphysical side of it. Remember, equal and opposing forces. So you could say that with nutrition. You want the good body, but that signifies that vision of yours is that when you picture yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you're not fat, you're not malnourished, you're not skinny, you're jacked, you have veins everywhere, you're just enormous, you're pumped, you have a 24/7 pump, and you have a woman that's a woman of your dreams, not just an average woman because that's all your body could get. No, you attract what you are. And women value disciplined men, men who do all the hard work. They don't value that guy they hooked up with one time at the bar who's skinny fat and drunk and plays college baseball and plays video games all day and drinks beer. She doesn't respect him. Not subconsciously. She might fuck him, but she doesn't respect him. Anyways, so that's another one. Women. What do you vision? What women are you with? Are you with one woman? The woman of your dreams, the woman that God sent you? Or are you having multiple women? Are you having 20 women that you're taking care of all at the same time? And that's just an example. The gym, the physical aspect again, the muscles. We already talked about this. The deeper level is that you're doing something hard. You're doing something you don't want to do. You're picking up the weights and you're just pumping weights and it sucks. You don't want to. There's days that I wake up and I don't want to train. I don't want to go to the gym and have an excruciating, painful, sweaty, hot in the summer. I'm sweating my balls off right now. My gym has no AC. I gotta hit legs today. You think I want to fucking do that? Fuck no. I don't want to hit legs. But I'm going to, because the deeper, more successful version of me does a lot harder things than hitting legs. It's not that hard, right? And so it all goes back to what I was talking about earlier. God. That is the most important thing. Above all else, you need a relationship with Him. You need a relationship with the higher power and the higher consciousness. And once you start practicing and taking time out of your day, every single day, you're going to start to see that being reflected towards you. You're putting out this energy into the universe, putting your faith into Him, into God, and eventually that's going to work its way back towards you because you're meeting halfway. You're not going to get the life you want. You might be successful. I know a lot of kids that make, millions and they're TikTokers or they're influencers. They got rich in a really stupid way, but there's a hole in them. There's a hole in their heart because they never went through the self-transformation and they never built themselves with their habits and skills. They have no skills. They might be good at one thing. They can post a 5-second TikTok making jokes and stuff. And I would argue if you give that kid money, like a shit ton of money, that's just going to make more problems. So don't be obsessed with it. And remember this quote: fast success builds ego. Slow success builds character. And if you guys watch Tate, you know how he's said many times, he got rich at 27, and he was saying he wouldn't have it any other way. Because if he were to get rich younger, he wouldn't have gone through that self-development. He wouldn't have gone through the kickboxing, the training, all the lessons and the pain and the suffering that it took for him to get to that point. And what would it even mean if he were to just get rich all of a sudden? You'd just be a nobody. And same goes for you. So if you're watching this and you feel helpless, you're feeling like no matter what you do, you're not seeing any fucking results day by day by day. With the gym, with your mind. Your mind is a muscle, your brain is a muscle, and you must train it to be with you and not against you. And once you learn that, everything else becomes so much more easy. Once you are aware, once you are conscious of what is actually going on, not all this facade that you see on the surface level, but what is actually deeper going on, you unlock that consciousness growing with God, then it's like everything else just becomes a habit. You catch yourself in a bad loop, bad thinking pattern, and you say, no, I'm a G. I'm going to go do this. There's tons of things I can do right now that'll lead to my success. But I hope this video has helped you. Lock in, brothers. There's about to be a lot of change in the world in our lifetimes. And it starts with us. It starts with the brotherhood that stand for Christianity, that stand for higher morals, that are proud of their nation, that are disciplined and jacked and not betas, not easily deceived or psyoped by society. And we're about to take over. Woo! But it is hot as shit and I'm feeling dehydrated, so I'm about to go home and drink some water. Love, brothers.